Recording in progress.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Dr. Miller,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Messina,
Present.
Mr. St. Columbia,
Present.
Mr. Etherly, Ms. Davis, Ms. Miller, 2 absent, 4 present.
Thank you. We do have a quorum, so we'll get started this evening. We'll jump right into our new business today with our first item being Ms. Cokes. This will be a community cleanup event update, so you can come on up, Ms. Cokes, and give us the details as necessary.
Good evening, council members and mayor and city clerk. I stand before you this evening to update you on the progress of our upcoming city cleanup, citywide cleanup. We have been distributing flyers throughout the city, and our cleanup is scheduled for the last Saturday in this month, which is March the 28th, starting at 9 o'clock. Our main station where they will pick up supplies will be here in our lobby area, like we did the last time. And we're calling it the Love Where You Live cleanup, because what we want to do is try to do more than we did at the last one. So we're taking it block by block. And we feel like if you get with your neighbors on your block and everybody pitch in, it doesn't take long to clean the block. It doesn't take long to pick up the trash. And we're just talking about regular trash, nothing big, nothing that won't go in a garbage bag. And our sanitation trucks will pick up the trash after the event is over. And we feel like we'll cover more than what we did the last time. And what we're asking our citizens to do is to have one person on your block committee to come down here and pick up your supplies. You tell us, we'll distribute garbage bags and gloves, and we do have some t-shirts for the tape. They'll probably run out. I don't know if we're gonna have enough, but we do have some t-shirts that the state sent us. And so they sent us some supplies, and we have some left over from the last one also. And so we'll distribute everything that we have to clean up with, and we hope to get a bigger participation because spring is here. Everybody wants their yard to look nice, and this is a good way to kick it off with the cleanup. And if we have success with this one, then we'll do a follow-up one in the fall before it gets cold. And so that's what I'm bringing to you tonight. And so if you need more information, I have some flyers out on the table right outside the door, and you can just pick one up. And if my phone number, my city cell number is down on the very bottom. If you have any questions, just call me, and I'll try to answer your questions to the best of my ability. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Cokes. Does anyone have any questions about the cleanup? If not, thank you, Ms. Cokes. I do want to just echo Ms. Cokes' sentiments that it's a community effort to have the cleanup, so we will have some publicity coming from the City of Helena-West on the Facebook page to promote that too. And we would love for you all to promote that in your specific areas as well. Moving right along, we're going on to our next item of business this evening. We have Pastor Danny Robinson requesting a speed breaker near his church, and this is for a safer flow of traffic.
Good afternoon to everybody.
Good afternoon.
First of all, I want to thank the mayor for inviting me and giving me this privilege to come and make some share with you guys. I've been here pastoring my church for 40 years. So I've been among you guys. Some of you have been there just about as long as I have. You was here when I first came, but you haven't been mayor. And I'm just grateful to you for giving me this opportunity. I know most of you may not see the need for a speed breaker over where we are. But Mr. Colombo, when Kip, they were raising a little sand because they were getting a lot of fender benders. And I thank you because you put a sky cam over there, although the sky cam never was working, which you may have not known nothing about that. And the sky came because the traffic has no regard for the area. There has to be something that would happen to curb that traffic down, son, because it's very dangerous. Pastor Valley has done a wonderful thing by opening up a food bank, but by him opening up a food bank, that makes it more necessary to have some speed breakers over there. I want to show you some. I have one of my entrepreneurs here with me, a member of my church as well, Brother Marcus Hughes. I want him, all of you know me from old days. And I always come and I always have some brochures and different things to share with you. Don't take me but a minute or two. Not that one. I want the one with my wife, Indy. Have a seat. I want this one right here because that's my wife's situation. And that happened because my wife was outside coming across the street and the traffic was coming so fast. And she knew that don't no traffic yield in that area. She rode bone to bone. She flat on her back. She can't walk. And right now, she's in a very bad shape. I'm not saying a speed breaker could have prevented that, but then there's a slight possibility that it may, because when she was walking across that street, traffic was coming so fast, and she knows, just like I know, they're not going to yield. They're just going to run wild all the way down from there. And that's bone to bone, and we are running from hospitals even today. Got to go back to Clarksville tomorrow because we're running bone safe. We need a speed breaker over there. And come on, Brother Hughes. We've done magnificent things over there. This is the improvement that we made. I'll go a little closer, if you don't mind. This is the improvement that my church and a few of my ministers association. We have changed it. We made a wonderful community over there. We have invested a lot of time, a lot of finances to make it a neighborhood. In that neighborhood, you got 5 people that's got wheelchairs, and that because more seniors over there. Before my church and I took a legend to build that nigger community out there, the police had to come down there every weekend, check the records. They had never been down in the last 10 years. Because we monitor everything over there. Larry Dex and I have been working all day because we're cleaning up the area there behind all those parks. I own some and he owns them.
Could you speak at that mic so that they could hear, so the folks on camera could hear? Thank you.
All right. I just want to see you. I thought I had a pretty loud mouth, although my throat is kind of stripped right now.
That's good.
But I do have a pretty loud mouth. And I thank you because I want you all to hear what I'm saying. My throat is kind of stripped, but I want to be fluent, and I want you to understand, and I want you to help comprehend what I'm saying, because we have an emergency over there. As I said here, you see how beautiful it is. Everything from Pastor Valley's church across the railroad, we own. Bobby Martin passed a resolution some years ago when he was city councilman here. I was here. Because I was here when Dr. Miller, you know, one thing, they asked me to run for city council. I may do that sometime. But why would I run some city council against my city councilman? His father, October the 10th, 1999, was the first one gave me a resolution, and we passed the resolution. It was Resolution 333. Your father. I'm too indebted to your father to run against you, because if I run against, I'll win. Ain't no in the world I'll run and lose. Give me them pictures. Give me that picture. Ain't no in the world I'd run and lose.
What's the intersection? What is that? Where
That's Arkansas, right, Pontotoc, Arkansas. That's my home right there. My home.
I know where your home is, but where?
That's on the corner of Arkansas.
Where you
and
want the speed bump?
That's right there on that corner. That corner. I'll mark it off.
Okay.
I had talked to somebody about that.
Okay.
I'll mark it off. That's my home. It was 4 apartments. I converted it into one house.
Okay.
All the community we bought, everything around it. Larry Dexter worked with us on things. He and I both are trying to beautify it further.
Okay.
I'm gonna show it to you. See how beautiful that is? You see the change? How does it look to you? You don't have to be, you don't say yourself cheap to give the credit where it does. Huh? That looks good. We changed it. We changed that like that. Now I'm gonna show you something. You sure can.
Excuse me.
But I'm gonna show you something else. I want you to see that side right there. You see that side right there? You see that side right there? City Council. Mr. Colombo, you've been here a long time, and I've been here a long time with you. I've come before these guys because I've worked with 5 different mayors. Jane Valley did more for me, with me, and for me than any mayor that ever been. And I couldn't support nothing against this lady because her father saw enough in me because I went to the casino I went and got a hospitality contract. I had 9 vans. Your father told Mr. Robertson, I see you trying to do something for us. And I'm going to give you gas credit. Your father started my gas transportation off, 9 vans. How could I say anything ill favor with you, other than getting you in the remembrance of your father to help us pass some of the resolutions we need to pass? Because he saw it in us, and we done good. We hadn't made no shortcuts on nothing. But now this right here, the audience city council, I don't see how you can pull the cover for yourselves tonight. This right here, Ms. Davis, Don, Mayor, all of you, Mayor, remember you're the mayor for all the people now. You need more support than these city councils. I've never seen nobody that couldn't be moved. Don't ever let them think that anybody can be moved. Sometimes we are fooled because we've been in these positions so long that we can't be moved. But anybody can be moved. We need to realize that. I've been pastoring my church 40 years. I got another year or so. I got raising a young man to take it over. And so that I can have more free time to do other things to where the city needs my support. Because these buildings right here have been there 39 years. Mayor, you have not driven down this. Remember, you got to be the mayor for all the people, not just one segment of people. You can't clean to one group. We need you to be the mayor for all the people. I've never seen you, I've never seen none of you guys come by this way. Not you, Marcina, not you, my councilman.
I drive by there.
I've never seen none of you guys, and I'm there every day.
I go by there every day.
I live right there, and I'm walking them streets every day, and I ain't seen none of y'all over there.
Okay.
And that right there, that right there was looking like that 39 years when I got there. And it's still looking at that today. Do you know how much money you make? It ain't public record, but I'm not going to expose it. All you got to do is calculate what you get annually for a year, and then add that up 39 years time, that annually. It's well over $100,000. And look at this here. I don't see how we could pull the cover upon ourselves and allow profit to look like that. As much money as you guys have got for the course of 39 years.
Yes.
They ain't gonna say nothing, but I'm saying because I'm representing the county. These are my people. Most of them are my members. You know, I always could have packed out any place I went. Amen. But we need some help. I want these speed breakers. And I want you to tell me why we can't get them. Because I don't really feel that you all gonna want to do this. We need those speed breakers. Not necessarily, not only for my wife, who is bedridden today, and who I got to carry back to the doctor tomorrow. If she hadn't had to make that last step, rushing out of the way for that car that was coming, she may have not been injured today. I'm not saying it's you all's fault. I have to take the blame myself because I could have went across the street and done what she was over there doing. You know what I'm saying, Mr. Colombo? It's my understanding that property belongs to you. Does it? I understand that piece of property, y'all don't want to walk off there. This piece of property right here, I understand it belongs to you. But I've never seen you pick up nothing on there. Who keeps it clean? I do. Thank you. Now, I understand it. Now, you didn't tell me that. Y'all researched everything on there because we bought everything. Right here.
Now, he's talking about the property corner of Arkansas and Bisco.
That's right. On the north side.
Yes, sir.
On the north side. What about the property? I understand it belongs to you. But you don't have to worry about it because I'm gonna keep it clean.
I'm not familiar with
Well,
that.
I'm glad you don't like to keep it. I just let it call it mine. Because I do, I keep it clean. That's right. This is where I live, right here.
I don't own this up here, I own this back here.
Okay, that's right. That's what you own, right there.
Over here.
Right, that's over there, that's right.
I don't own the front part.
I know everybody that owns it.
Yeah.
I've done research on it.
Yeah,
I'm not up here blanking.
I don't own the front part.
Even
So,
the part you own,
Pastor Robinson and Councilman St. Columbia, we can have that conversation at another time about the property lines, but I definitely want to make sure, that we get an acknowledgement of the speed breaker. So for the council's sake, this is the first time that the council has seen this agenda item on a packet of a speed breaker, and I wanted to put it on the packet or the agenda for tonight because I have had a chance to meet with Pastor Robertson. He's expressed this as a concern in this area. It felt fitting to make sure that the body knew about a potential change to a traffic pattern in the city, and wanted to make sure that you all were aware of this to be able to vote and discuss as necessary. So no one, I just want to make that clear, nobody around the table has been opposed to a speed breaker. This would be the first agenda that this has popped up on.
But since he brought this up, Mr. Mayor, I don't own that, where that slab is, I don't own that. You did the research,
I have.
who owns that?
Your name was among.
Well, I sold that years ago,
Well, don't, I mean, that's all.
I remember that,
I keep it clean, I'll put my claim on
yeah.
it. Don't worry about it.
That don't belong to me.
Go like this. I wanna know, are we gonna get a resolution this first, put that speed breaker? And we don't wanna just table it now because I've been told that you can operate up to $5,000, anything or charges to be designed. Now, I have already ordered speed breakers before because I still work for these kind of road department. We have one code enforcer.
We
There
just
are no streets up there in Miranda that look like this. I still work there after 50 years. We don't have we got one code enforcement.
we have three as of today. We have three. We've extended two offers that were accepted to fill all positions.
You see this right here? Do you see this right here? That I showed you that had been
Yeah.
set 39
Yeah.
years? When I talked to your code enforcement about that, you know what he told me? Now I stand before the Supreme Court and tell you. He told me they made an attempt and he couldn't do nothing else. Now what is that?
I can't say, Pastor Robertson, but I will say we have three, and that's a testament of how much of a priority. We have three positions that are in the base pay ordinance, and over this last week, two of those positions were extended for offers and accepted. So that's the fierceness that we're going to go after code enforcement with under this administration. I've been here for 5 months, and I agree with everybody that's in the community that's brought up in our listening sessions, our town halls. Code enforcement is an issue, and I grew up here. I recognize that. I can't answer for 30 years in 5 months, Pastor Robinson. And so I just want you to know that we are at 3, and the expectation, the new tone, is that we want to have a higher standard of beautification for our community. That's why we hired the extra 2.
I hope y'all start over there where this council.
As you said, I'm the mayor for the whole city, and so we're looking at every area around the city.
But they councilman for the whole
Yeah.
city, but I ain't never, and I walk every day, I ain't never seen one over there.
We have.
And they all have made over $130,000. That's not public record.
So
I know what everybody makes because that's. I investigated.
For the sake of time, Pastor Roberts, I do want to open up the floor for discussion around the speed breaker.
Okay.
Just for the sake of time and the other people that are on the agenda.
I'm through.
I wanted to know if this body has any discussion around support or opposition for a potential speed breaker next to the pastor's church to slow traffic. And being that would disrupt the flow of traffic, this is the body where I felt this needs to be talked about. Go ahead, Mr.
Is it
Messina.
just one, or do we need 2 speed breakers? That's my
You
question.
actually would do better if you had 2 speed breakers, one coming from both ways. But if not, I need one coming from towards Pastor Valley's church. Pastor Valley's church, since the old food bank there, is reckless. Now, Kip knew that there was a lot of fender in there, even before Pastor Valley opened up there. Now, I investigated all the properties around there because we bought all of them around there. So I know the up and down, but I don't want to hold you up. I thank you for giving me this time. But we need something done, and I hope I can know before I leave tonight, are we gonna get that speed breaker? And we're not just gonna table it and procrastinate with it. We need one because my wife is at home flat on the back, which may have been prevented if we had speed breakers.
So I want to ask this body to do.
Well, I'll make a motion that
Pastor
we have
Robinson.
at
Yes,
least.
sir, let me have a friend.
Are you asking for the speed breaker between the railroad track and Bisco Street or on the other side of the railroad track?
No, it's gonna be right on the east side of the railroad track, just about to the intersection. Just about to the intersection.
So right in front of your church? Or-
No, right in front of my house.
Okay.
That's what intersection is. Now, I've ordered some of these because I put them down before in Lee County. And they're real cheap. They're real cheap. It's not a high cost to get a speed breaker. I know the cost of all these things that we're talking about because I was the foreman of Lee County for 40-some years, and I still work for Lee County, as well as down here. Still work for them.
Are you talking about the speed bump or speed hump?
Either one of them, there is a speed bumper and there's a speed breaker. I think speed breakers are more for parks and things like that. I've already had it measured, our road is wide enough, you're not gonna put one all the way across there. And I call year-round speed bumps. You can order these things real cheap. You don't need nobody to say it costs too much. If it costs more, charge it to my church. That is all right there, I'll take care of it. Amen. Huh? You can get a speed breaker for under $500, a good $500. And I got sense enough to know you got to get the type that will carry the weight of those truckers that's coming across there. I've done this before. Thank you, Miss. I hope I win your vote on this speed breaker because I don't like my wife suffering like she's suffering. And I hope y'all don't procrastinate with it neither. I need it down there ASAP. I'm waiting on the resolution now. My council member, now I ain't gonna vote running against you because if running against you, I'll beat you. And you doing good. Your daddy, I'm too much in daddy with your daddy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Just like I'm too much in daddy with your daddy. Yeah, I'm an old timer
So-
around here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So are we, as a body, willing to move forward with a motion that we will support a speed breaker, ultimately changing the flow of traffic through this neighborhood?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Ms. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. St. Columbia?
Yes.
Dr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Messina?
Yes.
Mr. Etherly?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Y'all some good
5 years.
people. I don't care what you say about you.
Motion passes.
Now you see this group here, Mr. Carroll. These are my preachers. They ain't gonna let me lose nothing. But see, we wouldn't vote against you. We'd help you.
Yes, sir.
Your daddy been too good to me. Your daddy been too good to me. Andre and me and him just got our preach bowl together.
Thank you, Pastor Robinson. Thank you.
Mayor.
Thank you,
Thank
Pastor.
you. I do, for the record, I want to add,
Now, please, don't y'all procrastinate on that, please. Please don't procrastinate.
for the record, we have had speed breakers at the Street and Sanitation Department. We currently do not have any right now. potentially asphalt can be laid. There are a couple of different ways to do it. But I think, as it was mentioned, the key is to make sure that whatever gets put down is sufficient enough for the type of loads that go across that street with the 18-wheelers. So we will work with the Street and Sanitation Department to make sure.
When you get ready to put it down, I'll mark it off where it needs to be.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank y'all.
Moving on to our next line item of business, we have Judge Carter with the District Court, who is raising awareness about potential raises for the District Court staff. In your packet, this is page 2 in your agenda packet. How you doing, Judge? The floor is yours.
It's been a little while since I've been in front of y'all asking for anything. So for those who don't see me all the time, I'm Jason Carter, District Judge for Lee and Phillips County. And I am before y'all tonight to ask your consideration in a proposed salary adjustment for District Court personnel. Their performance over the last, well, throughout my tenure has been excellent. I've come before y'all several times and asked for salary adjustments for them. I know I asked in 2000 and at the end of 2022. I asked again at the end of 2023. I know they have not had any salary adjustments since at least 22. I think they may have gotten a cost of living adjustment possibly at the end of 21, but there have been no salary adjustments for the District Court personnel since then. I think that their work, I owe it to them, their performance, to come up here and ask for this. You've got the current salaries that they have right now on your sheet there. I have the proposed adjustments on there. If you would like, I can go through and kind of tell you why I'm asking for what I'm asking for on these. Or if you just have any questions, I can answer any questions that you've got. But we're looking at a difference, just straight salary-wise, of an additional $27,889 for the entire department is what I'm asking. It's similar to what I have asked in the past. But again, like I say, we have not gotten anything for those employees since at least, I'd say 21 or 22. Any questions from anybody?
Is there any discussion, commentary on the judge at the judge's request?
Is it in your budget? Do you have it in your budget too?
I don't know the answer to that question. I do understand that that financials with the city are under a strain. That's one of the reasons why I don't think I even came last year and asked for adjustments for the staff, but they deserve it, and all I can do is ask that y'all, if it's not in the budget, to consider doing whatever you need to do to get this added in.
To answer that question a little bit more in detail and provide some clarity, this was requested at the judge's, at the request of the judge to put this on the agenda. No, not throwing you under the bus, Judge, but just want you all to know that this was not the mayor's request at all to advocate for salary increases. I do, and I want to be on the record for saying this, I do believe that we have a lot of city employees that are severely underpaid. I do. And I think that that has been a self-inflicted wound just from mismanagement of finances over the years. That's my assessment of the situation. The only increases that this body has made in the last 5 months has been for the police department, and I want to just be clear about that decision being done pending a agreement that was before this, in my administration, my arriving here. So in all of my conversations with department heads, staff, city employees, I've been pretty clear that I do believe in bonuses, I do believe in raises, I do believe in competitive pay. I've asked everybody to give this administration some time to make sure that the financial positioning is as strong as it can be before outright giving raises for different departments. Not that I don't believe in them, but I've asked for every department to just give time for us to pay down the deficit and make sure that we have a much stronger position. So that's my position on this particular request for salary increases, and it's not to say that there isn't valuable work done, because I get a chance to see the quality of work from straight down the hall. But I want to provide that clarity to you, Dr. Miller, as you asked about.
Do we know, because I don't have my other budget with me, do we know how much is taken in cash from, from court fees and all that stuff?
I don't have those numbers right offhand.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that too. It's a consideration to offset the
I understand.
expenses.
And I will say that part of these salaries, there is a little bit of offset on a couple of them. On Miss Valerie Hansberry's salary, she is the chief court clerk, and part of her, I believe it's half of her salary is.
That's correct,
Half her salary is paid by the county.
Okay.
And so I think the county has an agreement that they pay the city for her half.
Okay.
There's another court employee that handles the county docket, and I believe that they pay for a third of her salary.
Okay.
And we now handle Lakeview and Elaine Court here in Helena-West Helena, and they pay a small portion toward that salary as well. I believe it's $2,000 or $2,500 a year, something like that. They don't have a very large docket.
Okay.
But, so they contribute to one of these salaries as well.
Okay.
I will note on Ms. Hansberry's salary, she is, like I said, the department head. She is the supervisor for the office.
Mm-hmm.
She is currently making a little bit over, what's that, 900, maybe not even $900 more than the next employee that she's supervising.
Yes.
The base pay for that position, according to ordinance, is $36,000 a year, but there's a state law that requires that a chief clerk be paid no less than the highest paid deputy that works under her.
Mm-hmm.
When Ms. Hansberry was hired, the previous mayor recommended that she be paid $1 more than the next highest salary, but the council did set her salary at $41,000, but she's not making much more than, the people that she's supervising.
Mm-hmm.
That's one that I'm not saying that they don't all deserve it, but she's got a lot of responsibility as a department head.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I'm asking for the salary increase for her.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Spencer has been with us for a long time. I don't know how long he's been than I have. I started in January of 21.
20 years, I think.
He's been here for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
And he not only performs his duties as a deputy clerk, he also acts as our IT person, I guess, and probably acts as the IT person for several people throughout City Hall. We have had times where we have bought computers. People were supposed to come set them up. They either wouldn't come set them up, or they wanted an outrageous amount of money to do that. And Mr. Spencer stepped up and took on that responsibility, and things are working well. He knows his way around computers.
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Hancock, she handles our county docket. She's now handling the Lakeview and the Elaine dockets. I had asked for a salary increase for her when she started taking over that position. She originally was doing the civil docket, and when she stepped over to the county, that's added responsibility. I believe that she needed the raise then.
Mm-hmm.
I asked for it back then. We did not get anything for them. And Officer Hall, I'm asking for him to be equivalent to, I guess, what would be the corporal salary for the police department. He's on the police department roster. He is not a patrol officer, but he is on the police department roster. He's been a court officer for, I believe, at least 14 years. Before that, I believe he worked as a patrol officer for Helena-West Helena. He exceeds the training for court officer and police officer. These are training certificates from the past year that he's completed. He's far exceeded the training for those. I know it's not really relevant, I guess, but I will say he works part-time weekends and nights with Marble Police Department, where he has the rank of a corporal. He has the training that I believe would go along with that rank, but I just would ask that his salary go along with his years and his training. So that's kind of why I'm asking for what I'm asking for. And I do understand your position, Mayor, and I just have to ask for my people. Is what I have to do.
I understand.
One other quirk, just for the public's sake and for the council. Judge Carter is actually, though the court department works for him according to state law. Everybody on this list works for Judge Carter. The city has the obligation to pay until the courts finish the transition. We went from municipal court to district court. They have not completed that process for the entire state. But the law is that they are hired and fired by Judge Carter, and the city has the obligation to pay them, and eventually they will be state employees. But right now the city's obligation to pay. That's why Judge Carter, the person, has to ask for the raises, because they're his employees, not even though they're on the city payroll, they are technically work for the court.
And thank you, Mr. Valley. That reminds me, I believe the law took effect at the middle of last year, maybe. But prior to last year, cities and counties in my district had to reimburse the state for a portion of the judge's salary. I don't know what the Helena-West Helena's portion was, but they are no longer having to pay that because the state has taken over 100% of the judicial salaries, because like Mr. Valley said, we are a state office. And so the city is no longer paying whatever that portion was. I don't know what it was, but I would imagine it's close to what I'm asking for here. So I don't know where that money went in the budget, but there may be a little wiggle room there. Trying anything I can.
No,
Now, also, in terms of our contract, Judge Carter has to get the county to approve their portion, because in our contract, Ms. Hansberry, the city pays half, county pays half. And we did an interlocal agreement, was it 2 years ago?
I believe so, and yeah, I would have to go back in front of quorum court, and in that agreement, we kind of set a salary range where there really shouldn't be any issue with them approving it, and I'm pretty certain that what I'm asking for is within that salary range, but yes, I would have to go back before quorum court.
But there's at least 2, possibly 3 employees in that contract. I have to go back and look at it. But
I think it's just 2. I think it's just Ms. Hansberry and Ms. Hancock, I believe. There may have been something with court officers, I can't remember.
Now, this court officer, would that be paid out of police department funds or through the?
Well, they should be being paid either from the general fund, but the issue is they're on the police department roster, but they answer to Judge Carter.
I understand.
And so they're certified law enforcement officers.
Yes.
But they work for the court.
I understand.
So is there any discussion or thoughts from the body about the proposal?
I'm looking at trying to see how to make it work. So you're looking at I like to refer to them as positions instead of people, because sometimes you refer to people get. But looking at this first position, that's being partially covered, through other funds, and also being supplemented by the county. And then the court officer, that can't be paid through the COPS grant, can it?
No.
Okay.
And I do think there could be flexibility with the district court fees, like that. There could be flexibility in that. That's not for certain at this moment. So
'Cause those are really the only two that really have the main jumps in salary. The other ones are kind of minuscule. The salaries are not really that big of a jump. A couple of thousand.
Yeah.
It's not really big of a difference.
Judge,
Yes, sir.
does court meet 5 days a week?
No, sir. I'm the district judge for both Lee and Phillips County, so I usually have court in Lee County on Mondays. And here in Phillips County, Tuesdays and Thursdays are our West Helena days. We have plea and arraignment Tuesday mornings. We have criminal trials Tuesday afternoons. Thursdays are our traffic trials. The second and fourth Wednesdays of the month, I have Marvel Court. The third Wednesday of the month, I'm here for Lakeview and Elaine. And then the first and third Fridays of each month, I'm here in Helena for civil court. So usually at least 2 days a week, sometimes 3, sometimes 4, just depends on how the weeks fall.
So these employees, are they working 5 days a week?
Oh, yes, sir. They're here 5 days a week, and they are plenty busy, I promise you. They've got officers bringing in tickets, they're putting tickets on the docket, they're doing dispositions, they're taking money. Court officer, which right now we're kind of down, we have 2 court officer positions. The person who is actually in the court officer position that holds the actual position, he was in an accident July of last year. We're thinking he might be able to get back to work, but right now we have a temporary position. He's not a certified police officer. He cannot go out and serve subpoenas. So our main court officer, Officer Hall, is doing the majority of the work for that. The other court officer is here mainly kind of as building security, the one that's working on a temporary basis.
Sorry about it.
Yes, sir.
Wouldn't the officer, even though they're in that capacity because of their rank, wouldn't we by law be obligated to pay them corporal pay anyway?
Well, we should pay him according to whatever his rank is.
Yes, sir.
Yes, so we'd be consistent with whatever the ranks are with the.
Yeah.
with
But
the
now,
department.
he's not a corporal here. He's just a corporal
Right.
in another department. He does not have any rank here, as far as I know.
Okay.
I'm just asking
Oh,
that
I
his pay
understand.
be
I
equivalent with that corporal position, because I believe that
He has how many years experience?
he's been a court officer for, I think, for at least 14 is what he told me.
Okay.
And he was working part-time, I
Okay.
believe, with the department before that.
Gotcha. Marvel.
But he has been a court officer for 14 years, is what he tells me.
Okay. How many years of experience as a police officer in Marvel?
Oh, as far as experience as a police officer, I don't know, it goes back a while, I would imagine. But he's got a number of years as an officer.
Oh, I see.
And like I say, this is just last year's.
Understand.
He's got some for this year, he's got some for the year before, stacks about the same. I mean, he's got more training than I would say a lot of officers do.
Yes, sir.
But all these people are police officers except Mrs. Hansberry?
No, sir, only 2 are police officers. That's Officer Hall. The other position is Officer Bright. He's the one that had the accident, and like I say, we're hoping that he's gonna get back with us, but at this point, we're still not sure what his status is.
Where does this, where does this money come from? Our general fund,
Yeah, it would.
basically?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
And don't we receive, fines and money from,
The court fee, and that was the question earlier, what that
Yeah.
exact amount was. And I'm sure that amount would vary from year to year, day to day, week to week. But we don't have that exact figure, right now. So,
well, he would
Yeah.
know, would,
Not off the top of my head, I don't, Mr. St. Columbia.
Approximately.
Like the mayor said, it does vary a lot. It varies between year to year. It varies between administration to administration. You've got different chiefs that kind of enforce things differently. You have some administrations, you have a lot more tickets. You have some that have fewer tickets. We cycle like that. It's not just here. It does it in Lee County too, depending on who the sheriff is. Sometimes we have more tickets than we do others. Or sometimes if it's an election year, sometimes you have more tickets than you do otherwise.
Is it at least 28,000 a year?
I would think so, but I don't, like I say, I'd have to get those numbers off the top of my, or I could get those numbers, I don't have them off the top of my
Okay.
head.
Okay. I think we look and see what the
Yeah.
income is and then come back and revisit.
If that number were, if the average were close to what's being proposed as the difference in salary, I believe as mayor, I could support and would be behind it. But I know right now, and this is for the body and as well as judge, but I know right now, I believe that our financial position has put us where we are, where bonuses, I recognize, are due for a lot of city employees. They are due, and there will come a day where this list will come from me amongst other departments. That's not today because we haven't had enough time to take down a lot of that deficit. So
I know they didn't have an increase last year. I know you didn't come last year. I thought it was 3 or 4 years ago, really.
Correct, it's been at least since '22 since they've had any increase. And I think that was a cost of living increase. I don't think it, no, I think it was just a cost of living increase. I don't think there were actually any, because I see that, like for instance, Ms. Hancock, she came in at $15 an hour and she's now making $15.60 an hour. So I think it was a 60-cent cost of living increase that she might have gotten.
Yeah.
Mr. Spencer has not had anything since 2022 for sure. He may have gotten that cost of living increase of 60 cents or whatever it was, but you know, like I say, I've been here before a few times and asked and not had any luck. So I'm here again.
We don't want to lose good employees.
Mr. Carter, can we see, we'll possibly table this and then we can find out what the amount of income is from fees and fines and stuff like that?
I will work on that. I will see if I can get some reports printed, and I will talk with Mr. Turner and see if we can get some numbers and see what I can get y'all.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Judge, do you know or have an idea how much fees that Helena is collecting from their fees that they, traffic tickets and whatever?
that's what he's gonna.
Yeah, I'm gonna get numbers for that. You know, there's 3 parts to a traffic citation, for example. So for a speeding ticket, you've got the fine portion, which I believe the fine portion goes into the city general, I think is how that works. Then you've got the court cost part, which now part of that goes to the state. Previously, Helena-West was keeping almost all of the court costs because the way it was structured, they had what was called a retained share of court costs. And it was some formula that was made up in the 90s. I don't know where they came up with these numbers, but if you did not meet your retained share, say for example, I think in Helena-West, it may have been like $9,000 a month, then we would keep all that money. Anything over that $9,000 would go to the state. I don't know where they came up with that number, but we were not meeting that $9,000 every month, so we were keeping 100% of those court costs. Now, the state requires that you pay half of it to the state and you keep half. No matter how much you take in, they get half and you get half. That's what they came up with the last legislative session. It hurt some courts, it helped other courts. It's gonna hurt ours, but that's the second part of a citation. Then you have a jail fee. The city gets a $20 jail fee, the county gets a $20 jail fee on every citation that somebody pleads guilty or pays their fine or whatever. So there's 3 parts to it. You've got fine, cost, and jail fees. I should be able to get reports run that I can give you numbers on those. The jail fee, I guess, goes just straight to the city for jail defrayment costs, anything that they would have to help pay for jail purposes. The court costs, I believe, are help to operate the court.
Yes, and part goes to the county as well.
Part goes to the county, part goes to operate the court, and then, like I say, the fine part is what actually goes, I guess, to county general. But I can work on getting those numbers and come back before y'all if that's what y'all would prefer.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right?
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Thank y'all. I'll get that and get with Ms. Ramsey on getting on the next agenda.
Yes, sir.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Moving on to our next order of business, line item number 4, we have Stephen and Crystal Cannon, and this is a request to lease 511 Miller Street. As many of us know, it's the community center. And before I turn it over and give the floor, I just want to give a little context. There existed an agreement at one point under, I believe, the Smith administration for the use of this facility to be used as a community center. And once that lease has not been renewed, I cannot say all or speak for all the details under the previous administration on how everything played out, but utilities were turned off. Keys remain in ownership or under the ownership of the leasing party, and so we found ourselves in somewhat of a minor conundrum where there hasn't been a clear established lease that has discussed the usage of this building. And so on page 3, pages 3 through I want to say 6, you will find a drafted lease agreement that allows Restoration of Hope After School program to use 511 Miller Street in an official capacity where they would operate out of the building. They would pay utilities to make sure that water, electricity, gas, and other things are present as necessary. I believe that, and I know that I spoke with Attorney Valley beforehand. I've been playing catch up since I've been back today, but this would, if we approve this tonight, would require us to waive bidding. This is a lease agreement that would extend from today until December 31st of this year. And the reason why I felt that was a good length of time is because that's the amount of time I'm guaranteed to be in this seat. And so as somebody that appreciates the work that these two do and have seen firsthand the impact that they've had on kids in the community, I do believe that this would be a good use of a space that otherwise would be sitting. Yeah.
Prior to the Cannons speaking, for clarity, the city had leased this property to the Boys and Girls Club. If they remember, they had a Boys and Girls Club East. This is the identical contract that we had with the Boys and Girls Club. It was for $1. The city can contract with a third party to provide the same services that the city provide, and this goes within that scope. There was my understanding, that the council has not approved the contract for Bishop Cannon, but he did have an arrangement with Mayor Smith that continued with Mayor Franklin, but the council has never approved a formal lease. And so that's where we are, is my understanding. Yeah. But with that, I yield to Bishop Cannon.
Hey, God bless you. I want to share this with you. I got into I love my city. Love working with, I think sometimes underprivileged kids that do not have what others may have. And God called me to this calling. I do it with a passion. It's not about the money, it's about the child, that no child be left behind. So in 2019, I came to Mayor Smith, and he worked out a contract with me at that time. And I started operating out of the community center doing the after-school program where we fund, we feed, we tutor, we spend time with children, not asking anything from the city, just the use of the property to help the kids that's over here on this side of town that sometimes get left behind, that can't get transportation to the Boys and Girls Club in West Helena. And so, and then it's also a place where I grew up in. And I stayed on Cherry Street, and I remember from Morehouse all the way up to Mr. Morgan and different ones who ran it. And to me, it's an honor to come back and to give back to the community. So it's something that I love, and every day we're averaging 50 to 70 kids over the week that we have a volunteer staff of 8 people that come over there and spend time with them. We make sure they're fed, we make sure they get home. We use our own transportation to get them there, and it's just something that we love to do. We had the privilege to even work with Mr. Councilor Miller when he was coming to having the feeding program. So it's just the passion to change, and I just want to be a part of the solution and not a part of the problem. And also with that, those kids desperately need a place to have when they get out of school. You'll be surprised how many times we have tucking guns off of children and had a chance to talk to them and counsel them. A time we had to minister to kids that were getting ready to do something that was stupid, and we had a chance to intervene and change their mind and change their direction. And so it's a life-changing program, and I believe it'll help our community and help some of those who cannot get their transportation out to Helena-West. You're in there.
Thank you. So, well, first, is there any discussion around the usage?
Under this agreement, would the city provide the water and the electricity?
The lease, they would pay for it.
Okay.
And that's part of what sparked this conversation. I was approached probably the second week of being in this position about a potential agreement, and it wasn't necessarily about the agreement, it was about the water, and through a deep dive understanding that there needed to be a formal agreement so that they could use 511 Miller Street. So
because right now at the time, for 2 years we have no running water.
yeah,
We have no gas. And we've been operating, we can't do nothing because we came to the city and tried to see what we could do to get the water turned back on. We even had offered to pay for the water, and still our kids don't have water and they don't have gas.
Yes, in paragraph 3, Dr. Miller, it says the lessee shall be responsible for prompt payment of when due of all water, including sewer taxes, electric, gas, telephone, and other utilities consumed on the premises.
Okay.
This is identical to what we did with the Boys and Girls Club, when they had Boys and Girls Club East.
Yes, sir.
and I'm going to add, not to necessarily persuade, but just point of fact, if this body doesn't feel moved to allow usage of 511 Miller Street, then effectively, and I've expressed this to both parties at the mic, that we wouldn't have anyone use that space because there is no official agreement for anyone to be in there. So I wanted to just establish that point of fact. So. And to remind you that what we would need to do if you felt moved to vote for this and approve this lease, we would need to waive the bidding for this, which could be agreed upon at our next meeting in April so that they could have a formal lease to continue to use 511 Miller Street.
If my memory is correct, somebody stole the meter, right? Was that what happened?
Stolen.
The meter was stolen? I think that's what the water department, when Mrs. Cannon came to visit with me about this, I went over to the water department. I think the meter was stolen. Is that what happened?
No, the water, the plumbing and the ceiling had busted. And we were getting it to get repaired, but they had to cut the water off, so we ended up, we couldn't shut the valve off. So the city came and removed the meter altogether.
Oh, okay. I know there was some issue with the meter, but so the water condition is unrepaired right now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So wait a minute, the pipe in the ceiling needs repair?
Yeah, it's a simple fix. All we needed the water turned back on. It was one of the pipes in the roof is busted and need to be shot back. We had some plumbers that was getting ready to do the work, but we couldn't. The valve that got stuck on the meter, so they had to remove the whole meter. And he's supposed to be bringing us a new meter. They never brought us one back.
Okay. I think they told me somebody stole it, but just saying, the meter was gone. Is the conclusion. Okay.
Well, as a practical matter, just candidly, Mayor, I think when you have issues like that in the future with pipes busting in the ceiling, we need to contact the mayor's office and others because
we did.
It's the city's building, so that's something to be prepared by the city.
We did. We text. We called. We inboxed. We came to the office. We had meetings, and they knew about it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I think part of the practical thing. This is my first time hearing of that, but I think part of the practical thing is once we have a formal lease, we will understand the relationship and et cetera. So as a practical matter, the council can approve the contract, but we still would have to come back and waive competitive bidding at the next meeting. if that's what this council so chooses, because we have not bidded this for lease to anyone.
The reason why I feel comfortable waiving the bidding in this particular case is because there isn't a high demand or a long line of folks that have been willing to use this space. So that's why I feel comfortable waiving the bidding.
Has your ceiling been repaired so they can put the meter back in?
No, the ceiling is, there's nothing wrong with the ceiling. It's just the pipe busted. You just need to, fix the pipe that's in the kitchen.
All right, so when the pipe's fixed, the ceiling will be all right.
Yeah.
So is there a motion to entertain entering this lease with Restoration of Hope After School Program and thus waiving competitive bidding at the next meeting in April?
He's gonna have to prepare an ordinance, I would.
Yeah, I have to prepare an ordinance on that. I think in the interim too, if y'all want to give the temporary approval, I think you have to get approval subject to the city repairing that pipe. Because it needs to be in good condition when we give it to him, that if it's a pipe that's in the ceiling, that's the city's obligation. It's not his. What's that?
I mean, I guess we need to have somebody take a look at it and see what the cost is gonna be, so it may be minor, which means it could just be done, repaired.
Mhm.
If it's something more substantial than that we have to approve, then
I think
this is what I'm trying to say, is do it all at the same time. We approve the contract, but then we still have work to come, and then we find out later it's something that we didn't anticipate, and then we still have to pass the ordinance. So in 2 weeks, we can just do it all at once, and we'll know what all the parameters are. Just makes sense to me.
I think in the interim, though, we do need to get the mayor, get a plumber to look at it and get it fixed. If the council is going to approve that, we can go ahead and do that.
I mean, I don't have a problem with the lease agreement. I just,
yeah.
for
I understand what you're saying.
procedural purposes, I'm just saying do it all at the same time. That way you know exactly what you're approving. There may be some repairs that need to be approved, and we can just do it all at once.
Is that the agreed upon sentiment, or is there a motion to accept or approve this today?
Is that okay with you guys? I mean, I think everybody agrees. You just,
Yeah, we're about to approve.
yeah.
So how do we how do I need to make that a motion?
To approve.
Yes, with pending the repairs.
I mean, we can make the motion. I would, and please correct me if I'm wrong, attorney, but we can approve to accept this lease or enter into this lease, and we'd be able to get our water department over there to handle that.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
So right now, we're just making a decision.
As a practical matter, we
I
still
made that
have,
Yeah.
I made that motion.
as a practical matter, we still have like 6 or 7 things. I can, if you're trying to approve it tonight, I can go and do the ordinance and put it at the end of the agenda if that's what you all trying to do it tonight.
Yes, sir. Let's do that.
Is that all right with you, Ms. Cannon?
I didn't hear anything, it was low.
He's gonna work on the ordinance now.
I can go do this competitive bid waiver ordinance and then come back. I'll go to my office and do that.
Thank you. So just please stick around, Mr. and Ms. Cannon. Thank you. All right. Yes. So while the city attorney is out, we're going to move to business item number 6, amendment to ordinance number 8, 2024. This is an automatic annual rate adjustment added to Article 6, and this is, we discussed this at our last meeting, but addressing the need to increase the water rate. So this is the ordinance that effectively amends the start date, since we did not start in January. We said we would start in April for the water.
On page 7,
Page 7, starts on page 7, correct.
the ordinance number 8.
This is an amendment to ordinance number 8, 2024, is what this is. And the original ordinance, we said that our rate increases would kick in for 2026 in January, and this is amending that to say that we've started in April. The key amended portion is at the top of page 8, where it plainly states charges shall be adjusted accordingly beginning April 1st, 2026. And so I just want to remind everyone that this was talked about in the last meeting, and this was the ordinance that we all said that we would be on board with.
What number is this? Madam Clerk?
6.
6?
6.
Move to adopt ordinance number 6 of 2026 by placing it on its third and final reading the title only.
Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Mr. Messina?
Yes.
Ms. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Etherly?
Yes.
Mr. St. Columbia?
No.
Dr. Miller?
No.
Ms. Miller is absent. It's 3 yeses, 2 noes, and 1 absent.
Oh, do I need
Mayor
to?
Whitfield.
I vote yes, sorry. An ordinance, reading ordinance, ordinance number 6 dash.
I changed mine to no. Didn't quite understand what we were voting on. It was on the raising water.
Well, it's the second part of the agreement, right, Mr.
Cor-
Etherly?
Yes. It's
Correct, yeah.
It's the discussion we had at the last council meeting
Yeah.
about the full implementation of the water rate
We need to do
increase.
that right now.
So
So
this is, I'm going to do the final reading, or the reading the first line only. I'll do that, and then we'll have another potential vote to accept
We'll have another
this
vote
ordinance.
tonight.
In just
Yeah.
a second, yep, just a second. An ordinance amending Article 6 of Ordinance 8, 2024, commonly referenced as the Water and Sewer Rate Ordinance of the City of Helena, West Helena, Arkansas, to modify the effective date of the 2026 Consumer Price Index adjustment, to provide for automatic annual rate adjustments each January 1st based upon the Consumer Price Index, to authorize the water and sewer utility to calculate and implement the adjusted rate schedule, and for other purposes. So, now that we've suspended the rules, is there a motion to approve this amendment? And I do want to acknowledge that the rate increase is not necessarily, it's not arbitrary in terms of just wanting to raise rates for the water department to be better. We have entered a formal agreement with the Arkansas Natural Resources Commission, where the lump sum loan that we were approved for, we qualified for because of these rates. So this is something that we approved in the last meeting. This is the actual amendment that passed with this body. And so this is us being able to say we're going to take care of our water system and make sure that we have a vested interest in clean and healthy water for the residents of Helena, West Helena.
So move.
Is there a second? Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Mr. St. Columbia?
No.
Mr. Messina?
No.
Dr. Miller?
No.
Ms. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Etherly?
Yes.
Mayor Whitfield?
Yes.
I have 3 noes, 3 yeses, and 1 absent.
So would this need to be tabled until?
Failed.
Got it.
That motion fails. Anybody want to share what I don't know?
For me, it's just real simple. I understand the protocol and everything. That was my campaign promise. I told my constituents I would not raise rates, and I've just been consistent with it. That's it. That's my my story. I'm sticking to it. So.
I understand. I mean, we're required to do it by January of 2028. I'm sorry, 2027. So somebody's gonna raise it, and it's a part of our loan forgiveness. So we're gonna pay one way or another, either on the rates or on the loan. But anyway, that's just that's my end of it. So
this is nothing new. We've already discussed this. We discussed this before the last meeting.
Yeah.
This is the agreement that we made.
Yeah, I didn't vote for the last
a
one.
portion, and then we'll do a smaller portion
Yeah.
this year.
But for the record, I didn't vote for the last increase.
well, might I remind you that we already adopted the ordinance that changed the rates.
Yes, sir.
This one implemented the second rate increase. It pushed it back to April.
Yes, sir.
We're still stuck with the other one.
Yes, sir.
Which means they should have gone up in January.
Yes, sir. I understand.
So if we don't change this one, then we got to start collection immediately.
Yes, sir.
Because we're already past our deadline to collect. Because that ordinance was passed last year.
I understand.
I understand that the water rate situation is a very sensitive conversation, and the way that we've expressed it at all town halls that we've had, all 6 of them, and conversation before tonight with different residents, if we want our community to be better, we're going to have to invest in it. And we have some agreements. I mean, I don't want to echo or be a broken record, but we've made some legal agreements where this is something that we said we would do. And I mean, I haven't been around for 50 years, but I know that we might have a different story to tell right now if we had invested maybe earlier into some infrastructure. So,
Mayor.
Yeah.
Does this have anything to do with the sewer increase?
No, it's just water. It's just water.
Do we have a sewer increase coming down the line?
And that is recommended, and our infrastructure's got to be maintained. And I think for anybody that lives in the city, there's a cost of living to make sure that our communities are being taken care of. So the short answer to that is yes, that will be a conversation that will be had in the future, and that's infrastructure that needs improvement as well. And that's the reality of living in a tangible world where things break down and need maintenance over time. And I don't want to say that to sound insensitive, but it's not a bad thing for a community to be invested in its upkeep. It's not a bad thing. And so I'll stay on that heel, because I believe that that's what it's going to take for us to take Helena was telling forward.
Reason why I ask that, I've got people asking me all the time, are y'all gonna vote for a water increase? Are y'all gonna vote for sewer increase?
I'm not cutting you off, Mr. Messina. We have the director for the water department. Mr. Messina.
Well, I want to reiterate some of the points that I made at the last city council meeting. This rate increase is, as Mr. Dunn said, is the second portion of what was already agreed on the original ordinance to increase the rate to $7.58. It was currently at $5.06. We have to increase it $2.52 for it to get to our agreed rate that we will have as an increase to maintain our principal loan forgiveness and actually stay in agreement with the loans that we are right around the corner of using. And so we can't afford to go back. And it's just an increase to the water rate. It's not, we're having no increase to the sewer rate. This is just to the water rate. And after this increase, we're not having to do another increase after that. So the biggest portion of the increase already happened when we first put this ordinance in place in 2024. Okay, so this is something that we're already delayed, but we get over this last hump, we can actually move forward with getting much needed projects done to our water system.
I guess I'll keep reminding you, you've already done it. When we adopted the rate change, remember we adopted one rate change. It was way higher than everybody anticipated. We suspended it, we came back, we changed that, we went through all of those meetings, we had some citizens who participated. That ordinance divided the rate change into two parts. The second part took effect in January. We just didn't do it. And so this ordinance just kind of cleans it up and says we won't start until April. But if you take no action, that ordinance remains in place. And now the question is, are we supposed to collect retroactively? Because people were supposed to be paying in January. So I understand you don't want to increase it, but you already have. And so the question now is, are you going to make it effective in January or make it effective in April?
Mr. St. Columbia, Mr. Messina, Dr. Miller, any?
We're getting a lot of complaints about our water rates, and people getting upset about it. And,
this water rate, are you saying if we didn't approve it, that start collecting back in January would be added on the next bill that's coming out in March, in April?
So what I'm saying is, you remember we had the meetings and we approved the water rate increase, and then the water bills went way high, and we moved to suspend it, and we suspended it. Then we had another round of meetings, and we had Mr. Cheek, and I forget the other gentleman who came in, and they did some proposals, and the council, the mayor had a proposal. We all had these different proposals. Then we settled on a rate increase. We had some input from
Rural Water?
Yeah, rural water, about what we needed for loan forgiveness. We incorporated all that information, and we adopted an ordinance that partially implemented the rate increase, the rate study. And then we set the second part of the increase for January of 2026. So that's passed already. That's been done. That's over. That ship sailed already. So when we made it to January, I guess what really happened is nobody remembered that the rate was already set to go up again, so we paused it so that everybody would know what the new rate increase would be. So I'm saying it's already done. It's just that the ordinance that's on the books right now says the rate increase takes place in January. This amends it to April. So that was the discussion we had at the last meeting. When do you want to make the second leg of it? Because you're just amending what you've already done. If you want the rate increase to go away, you got to repeal the entire ordinance. But the rate increase is in place already. So unless you're trying to repeal the previous ordinance, it either goes up in January or it goes up in April. And if it goes up in January, we haven't been collecting. That's a problem. If it goes up in April, it's prospective. I guess if you have buyer's regret, it's too late. You already adopted it. So you got to decide whether you want it to go into effect in January or April. Those are the only choices you have right now.
So let me speak a little bit to the current billing issues. I know there's been a lot of billing issues, especially for Helena. Now, basically, what we're looking at is with the last billing cycle that everyone is seeing now, and we're dealing with at this present moment, is a reflection of when we had to take estimated bills because of the weather conditions. And so this last billing cycle was actually the meters being read accurately and the bill catching up to where it was basically accounting for all the previous months that we had estimates. That's the average. The estimates is the average of the lowest usage averaging out. But when we actually take readings, it's the actual usage that is being used. And so, yes, it looks like a spike in the bill, but it's actually catching up the underbilling from the past previous months. But that can be worked out. It's case by case. I know it's a few cases in West Helena as well, but payment plans actually looking at adjusting and basically the spike of the bill and averaging that out over a period of time. And so to reflect on what Mr. Dunn just mentioned, if we're not agreeing to implement this rate increase on April 1st, which will go on our May billing cycle, those bills are going to increase even more because we have to keep in line to what has already been agreed upon and back pay the rate increase from January. So that's just, if it's going to make the situation worse. It's going to make the bills a lot higher because we actually have to put it back in the system, from January, which would be from, basically from February moving forward.
But we don't have to go back to January, right?
Well, we don't if we agree tonight to implement this rate increase on April
Well, I
1st.
wouldn't wish that on anyone.
Yeah, yeah, so,
I would like to start in April.
right. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I went to get Attorney Valley, cause I do want it to be understood that, again, y'all, like, I understand that y'all got y'all constituents and your constituents may be concerned about water rate increase, but do you want them concerned about a water rate increase or no water? If we don't implement this rate, we're gonna default on those loans early, which is gonna be us still having to pay back loans. We already are in a financial situation, and again, we won't be increasing the revenue to help us be able to pay back the loans or to be able to get our water infrastructure in a good spot. And so I understand y'all got y'all constituents' concerns, but like y'all, like, maybe make sure that your constituents also understand that if the rates don't increase, we won't have a viable water infrastructure. And that's just those are the cases. It's either pay more for the water, which again, we've had the biggest increase already. The first increase was the biggest increase. You're only paying an extra $2 and something after 1,000 gallons. And so y'all, like, it's minuscule in terms of if we don't pay these rates that we've already agreed to versus if we pay the rates, and again, we get access to money to help fix part of our water infrastructure, not even the whole thing. Like, y'all, this is bigger than just us worrying about our seat at the table, y'all. We're talking about the city. And so I just want to make sure it's understood, and because again, y'all, like, that's like we can't afford to not, we can't say no to this. It's like Mr. Etherly said, it's either January or April, but it's not a not at all type of deal, y'all. So I think we need to make sure we understand what we're voting for here.
From a legal standpoint, when we have the rate study, we had to give a significant increase, and the city has obligation within 2 years to get the rate increase to the level that it needs to be. Because the rate increase was more than 50%. Most cities are given only 1 year, but because the city has to have such a significant increase, it had to be phased in over 2 years. It was supposed to be phased in January the 1st according to our ordinance, but the city council voted to let's stop and let's implement it for April to go on to May's bill. The issue is this is serious. This is the first in the series. Also, it's supposed to automatically roll over. The ordinance automatically roll over, but the council has stopped it from automatically rolling over and saying, we want to review it, we want to have additional time. When the rate increase was done by Rural Water, they suggested that each year it automatically rolls over, and the language that was put in there regarding to the consumer price index as relates to water and sewer was a little higher than the regular consumer price index. The consumer price index for just in general was 2%, but it was 4% for its water and sewer nationally. And but we have obligations where right now you've already been approved for the $1 million. You're about to do the closing on it, and then after you do the closing on it, you have the other. As you remember, we asked for forgiveness on the loan, we asked for actual loan itself, and then we've been approved for part of it. Part of it is compliance. You move my mic with that. You pulling it. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But part of it is compliance with the rates being consistent to being feasible, financial feasible. As you all are aware, the water utility was not financially feasible for a long time. And the city was using, the water utility was pulling the city sanitation fees to pay for the operations. Now it's at a point where it's beginning to pay for itself, but it's still, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. And the issue is, for years, the city has sat back and not done anything. There's been a rate increase when Mayor Smith first came. Prior to that, the previous rate increase was when Mayor Valley was there. It's been 15 years. And now you've had the rate increase, and the issue is, part of the reason why it was tied to the consumer price index is so that the city can continue to move forward and provide the services needed to provide. Here's the one thing that the city has never done. We have never treated the water utility as a business. We treat it as a service, so we've been trying to do the bare minimum. Well, the issue is, because we were trying to do the bare minimum, the cost of operating, the cost of business has far exceeded what the funds that you have. And so you have diminishing returns and you have a larger problem. There's a lot of work that needs with the utility, from all the infrastructure to the filtration systems, and we also have to be concerned about both Helena and West Helena, because currently the application we've done, we've been trying to address issues with West Helena first, because that's what the crisis was at the time we did the application. But the later ones are dealing with the Helena side. You have two, regardless of what people think, there still are two utilities here within the city, and they require significant amounts of improvement. The issue is, I know constituents are going to complain and constituents are going to have issues, but if you just look around, I see the attorney, I come to see, we got a boil order in this area in Mississippi, boil order in Memphis, boil order in Germantown. Things happen, but they have the funds to make the utilities operate. And we got to have the funds to make it operate. And the thing about it is, the constituents, when you go in right now, when the cost of business goes up, then it's passed on to consumer. Right now, we wish we can go somewhere and talk to gas people and say, don't raise our gas. But what we do is go to pump and pay it, because it's cost of doing business. We didn't create a war, we didn't do any of that, but it's part of it. And that's what this is, a utility. All the external factors come into play, and we have to do things to make sure the utility operates. If the city council goes on record as saying it's not willing to increase the rates, then that's going to be a major issue going forward. And a vote not to increase this, you go on saying we're not going to do it. I yield to the other gentleman. I didn't hear the discussion beforehand. I would just pull.
But no, that was wonderfully put.
The only thing I wanted to add, and I'm an engineer, I'm not the attorney, and I was up here panicking because Andre wasn't in here, because I think, Andre, if I'm not mistaken, the loan, and I think it's been said, that loan is tied
to the rates.
That rate study. In fact, that rate study was modified to take in the extra money that they had approved for you. So I think without the increase based on that rate study, you would really need to, either Andre has an answer, or your bond counsel would have the answer, or NRC would have the answer as to what kind of jeopardy that may put your 24 million in on that, because again, the loan, that was one of the requirements of the first loan, and we're very soon about to apply for the second loan to get the rest of the 11 million. So I just wanted to point that out. And also, Andre, you can also emphasize, remember how the beginnings of all of this was the still active and ongoing consent order by the health department, that you've got to do something with your system. The health department has you under a consent order, and they're wanting to see the improvements that we are working on right now actively, and he's working on at his level. So I don't know if that helps, and maybe I've already said, maybe I'm out of place making those comments. I just, I see that whole picture, and we can't forget about what the health department has got a big eyeball on you right now watching.
That's correct. If I may, Mayor, thank you, Ken, for discussing the issue with the consent administrative order. The consent administrative order is that the Department of Health is saying that the city, we have to step in, we have to command, we got to make you do these things in the public interest. And as part of it, they found that the public safety, public health was at risk by all the findings that they found in the consent administrative order. And as part of it, they're saying, do all of these things or face massive fines. Because the state wants to make sure that the city's water utility, both sides, operate correctly. We have a consent administrative order for both the Helena side and the West Helena side. We went over and had a long hearing on that, and when we had the hearing, they emphasized that basically we keep telling the city to make these corrections, keep telling them to do it, they won't do it, they're not financially feasible, and we have to do something to get your attention, and if we have to, then if we don't do something, then there's other steps to be more aggressive to try to get the city to come into compliance. So while everyone laments, I lament about a water bill, I see my water bill and I say, oh my goodness. But at the same time, I know what's on the other side of the door if we don't increase the rates. It's disaster. I thank the chief of staff for coming to get me. I was almost through with the other ordinance, but Steve Scott come to get me to address the issue.
For those that voted no, are we willing to entertain approval at this point now?
Are we gonna have a revote?
We can, yeah, and we need to.
I think after the explanation of the two men at the podium, that gives you something to think about. So we're in serious trouble if we vote no.
We are.
And what would happen if we vote no?
I
don't know what would happen, but what you're telling the state is you're not willing to follow their directives.
Yeah.
No, y'all are giving too many options.
Yeah.
We adopted the ordinance a long time ago. You already voted for it.
I know the body.
Yeah, so the rate increase is already in place. You're just changing the date that the second leg of it takes place. It was set to take place in January of 2026.
We moved it to April.
We paused it so that we could tell everybody what the new rate would be. But you've already done it. You're only deciding whether it takes place in January or April now. The only way you can take away the rate increase is if you repeal that ordinance that was passed over a year ago. That's it. So I'm saying all of these options, I appreciate the academic discussion that just took place. But the options that you have at this table are really simple. Do you want the second leg to go into effect in January of 2026 or April of 2026? That's it. Or some other date in 2026. The ordinance that's in front of you says April 1st. But you can't take it back. You've already voted for it. It's done. That ship sailed a long time ago.
So to move forward, at this point, we would need a reversal or change of opinion from our no's. And are we ready is the question, to make sure that we can go ahead and get the vote.
Clear it up, let's just have another vote.
Here's the practical problem to add on to what Matesta said, and I don't want to belabor the point. Technically, you have not passed the ordinance to stop it from going into effect.
Exactly.
And so the ordinance currently, the rates were supposed to be increased, and if you don't pass this one, then what you're doing is saying every one of us are behind on our bills going back to January, because the rate's supposed to be calculated back to January.
Right.
And so you all stayed the ordinance by vote and said you're going to discuss and do an amendment, and so the water utility hadn't implemented it. If you don't pass this, here's your option. You can pass it and say go in effect to April and it goes to the May bill, and that'll be fine. If you don't pass it, then water utility has to follow the ordinance to go back and say, well, everybody in the hell know you're gonna get a large bill because it's supposed to go in effect January the 1st, and you all hadn't paid from January 1st. And the issue is, water utilities, let me remind you all of the water statutes. We cannot give away water. It is a violation of state law. We cannot give ourselves any benefits of water unauthorized by the ordinance. And everybody can be removed from office. If we're not paying a bill, we're getting free water. I want to remind you all of that. What I'm saying, all of us have to pay all our bills back to January, because the ordinance already says it goes into effect January 1st, 2026. So actually, you make it worse for the citizens if you don't decide this date was April, or whether you want to change it to May or June. You have a right to do that, but you got to do it by ordinance. If you don't do anything, then we got to go back January 1st and readjust everybody's bills, everybody in the city. You see the complexity?
I keep saying it's not complex at all. It's pretty simple.
It's not complex to me at all either. I mean, when the last vote went down, it was 5-1. I was at 1. I didn't vote for it then. I'm not voting for it. I didn't vote for it now. My vote hadn't changed.
Yes, sir, I understand.
Oh, you mean on the original?
On the original, I didn't vote for the,
original.
I didn't
Oh,
vote
okay.
for the original.
Yeah, well, so, that ordinance is in place, so all I'm saying is it's either in place in January or it's in place in April, so.
Mr. Messina, Mr. St. Columbia, are either of you willing to consider a vote for approval?
We need to relook at our rates. People are upset about it.
Mr. Messina?
Let's go ahead, because.
I've been
let's go
getting too
ahead.
many phone calls.
How do we redo? How do we?
The city council can always reconsider. You can still go back to the issue. I'm sorry.
Does that
You
have
can
to
go
be
back
in the,
to-
does that have to be in the form of a motion?
Yes, sir. You can do a motion.
I'm gonna be
suspend-
honest with you, I'm not happy. I'm not happy at all. I know y'all don't care about me being happy, but I'm not happy because I never voted for this from in the get-go.
I understand.
But here we go. All right, so I'm making a motion, we reconsider, is that?
You can suspend the rules, place on third and final reading the title only.
Yeah, but, okay,
You've
that,
already
please.
done that.
Yeah, but I'm saying they can bring it back. They
Yeah.
voted it down on the first time. They still can bring it back. It's the same
Yeah.
meeting.
But see, yeah.
No,
Okay.
that vote passed.
That vote passed.
This
Yeah.
is- this
Oh.
is the
Yeah,
second
it's the
adoption.
It's a motion to adopt
adoption,
then.
Yeah.
So what do we, okay.
So
Yeah,
this-
I wasn't in
this
the
is a-
room.
This is a
I'm
motion
sorry, I
to-
wasn't in the room, but.
This is a motion to actually adopt it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought we voted for that.
Well,
We voted
it
no.
was defeated, so now you want to, you've been rethinking it, and this is the second vote to adopt.
Gotcha, okay, all right, so I'm gonna make the motion, a second motion to adopt it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
What's what's?
Okay, this is a motion to adopt the ordinance, you know, the other one was voted down. This is the second vote to adopt it, in case y'all want to change your vote. Okay, Ms.
Madam-
Davis?
Yes.
Mr. St. Columbia?
No.
Dr. Miller?
Yeah,
What'd you say?
yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay. Mr. Messina?
Yes.
Mr. Etherly?
Yes.
Mayor Whitfield?
Yes.
Okay. I have 5 yeses, 1 no, 1 absent.
Thank you. Motion passes. Thank you. I think, I do want to just, we have to, we have to invest in our infrastructure. And that's going to help us.
I hear you.
Stay around.
I mean, but I was never in favor of it. I was never in favor of it. I felt, well, anyway, I'm not gonna give you my philosophy.
Our next order of business, we're moving on to line item number 7, Water and Landfill Department Resolution. This is a resolution to deposit landfill tipping fee from a water department sanitation fees. And so this has been prepared. We discussed this at the last meeting. This is a resolution for our landfill to make sure that they're in compliance with the solid waste agreement that we have.
Okay. As it relates to this, we had, after the last council meeting, I met with, I spoke with the mayor, chief of staff, spoke with Mr. Etherly, spoke with Director Wilson, and we were discussing different ways. And Mr. Etherly suggested he had asked us to calculate. Madam Clerk informed us that we're still paying the salaries and landfill expenses. In your budget this year, the landfill from general funds has appropriated $491,000 that you're paying. And the city has been paying that for a while, that the city pays all the salaries from the general fund. This resolution creates a flow from the sanitation rates are collected by the water utility. What this resolution establishes is when they collect them, that they would capture the portion for the landfill fees after receiving a bill from the landfill department for their fees. They also would capture the $4.50, which is $2.50 per ton for the state and $2 per ton for the district. And they would send 2 separate checks to the landfill. The landfill would then reimburse the city a portion of the payroll it gets from the city because the city has always paid the payroll. And so the flow is simply, once the citizens pay their water bills, the water utility collect the bills, and the water utility would deduct before it sends the general funds, the sanitation fees, it would deduct the landfill fees, in addition, the state fees that we pay to the state for the $2.50 per ton and the district for $2 a ton, and send both of those checks to landfill, and the landfill would remit a check back to the city towards the salaries that it pays. Total budget for the landfill, as I remember right, it's like $491,000, if I read the budget correctly. And so this is a resolution to approve that structure. Also, at some point, the city needs to consider the contract we have with the East Arkansas Solid Waste District. We used to be a clear line of division where everything in Phillips, Lee, and St. Francis County came to our landfill, and everything in the northern 3 counties went to the Crittenden County landfill. But when we sign this contract, as long as it goes through the district, it's fine. So while we are in the same contract with same entity with Crittenden County, we're technically competitors now. And what I mean by that is we have to be concerned about our rate and their rate to make sure people still coming, and the condition of our landfill, the condition of theirs. On January 1st, the contract authorized the city to go up to $50.50 per ton. That still will be up to the council. Right now, the city is at $45 per ton. But there are reasons why the city usually don't go all the way up to that fee. With that, I would yield to either the mayor or Director Wilson.
I think this is also just a simple conversation and resolution. This is pending the legal contract that we've entered, and so this allows the tipping fee to make sure it finds its way to the landfill.
Well, the things that I have done in this little handout, I just showed you what the host fee would be costing the sanitation, and I gave you a copy of the contract that we have. But my thing is that the district did set a level that we could go up to, but we have to get our own house in order before we put these other fees on St. Francis, Forest City, Mariana, on these other counties. We have to get our own house in order first.
So I'll entertain a motion to approve the resolution if there's no further discussion or any questions. Is there a second?
Second. What number is this?
6.
6.
Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Wait a minute.
Mr. Etherly?
Yes.
Mr. Messina?
Passed right now.
Dr. Miller?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. St. Columbia?
Yes.
Ms. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Messina?
Yes.
5 yeses and 1 absent.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I was trying to find out what the actual tipping fee is gonna be. I didn't see it.
So, moving right along, we're going to jump now into line item number 8. This is a list of water department invoices for approval. I am going to consolidate number 11 into this, which will be on the last page. This is an invoice from Qualibon Plumbing. This was added at the, this came to me at the end of the day from Ms. Danley, so I wanted to make sure I put it in. I see Mr. Rose is approaching the podium. You can come up.
Now you all have the invoices in your package. Now, quickly for, I'll start with the first one, the equipment trailer purchase. This is the.
And this is, sorry, Mr. Rose, this is page 15 in your packet, if you're looking for it, page 15.
And so this is to purchase a utility trailer. We actually had a 12, 14-inch utility trailer that was stolen, so we were needing to replace this trailer to move around to transport our zero-turn grass cutting equipment to our storage tanks, pump stations, to maintain the grounds during the cutting season, which is starting right now. And this trailer is available at Southern Outdoors. It's actually under $5,000. I believe it comes out to $4,000 $212 with sales tax. And so this is needed, you know, and they're actually holding the trailer right now for us. There's other buyers that's interested, so if it's not approved tonight, I will have to seek to purchase a trailer from somewhere else. But thank you for actually having this on the agenda for me to discuss it.
Tell me how trailer got stolen.
It was actually, that's a good thing. It was just removed from our yard in West Helena, and sometimes when that happens, usually like if the street department uses it, they'll let me know, or let one of my guys know, like, hey, and it comes back. But this is kind of coming to a larger issue I'm not gonna get too much into tonight. There's been thefts not only on the water yard, but at the fire station #2 as well. There's been breaking into the vehicles. And so we're looking at a game plan to actually fence off that whole area and stop the foot traffic. Because there's been, normally my years here, I've been here 5 years, there's nothing that came up missing until over the last year or so. We had not only a utility trailer, but a pump taken off the yard as well.
When did this trailer, when was it stolen?
This was almost, I want to say, at the end of last summer, so August, almost coming close to a year ago.
August of last year?
Yeah, right after pretty much right after our cutting season, when we were actually utilizing the trailer after it was still for maybe a week or two, it came up missing.
Do we inventory tag it?
Not that trailer, but this one will be. We're inventory tagging everything that's on the yard now.
Do we file a police report?
Yes, there was a police report put in for that. And another thing, there's going to be trailer locks on these trailers as well. Okay. So, yeah.
Did you want to just add the rest of the invoice?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I didn't know if we, sure, right, let me just finish. Now, the 1500 Dodge Ram collision repair, this is the repair to, I know this is the work truck that you've all seen with the dented doors on both sides. There was actually 2 incidents. One involved a deer hitting the driver's side of the truck, and the other side was actually a accident, a run-in by someone driving over there off the West Russell Ave area in DeSoto. And so both of these files were actually claimed. I mean, both of these claims were filed on both of these incidents about a year ago. And thank you, Madam Clerk, provided me with the actual amounts that we received, which was roughly, I know it's in the packet, 2,000, close to 3,000 for one side with the deer incident, and then the other side was a little over 5,000. And so this work is actually complete now by Maltese Customs, and his amount is a little bit more. It's coming out to 10,000, so it's about 1,800 over what we've actually received from the claims. But he was actually able to get a little bit more work done than the adjuster found as well, replacing the whole bed and the doors. The truck looks pretty much brand new now, which is amazing. And so we have received the money for this, and we'll just be paying a difference close to 2,000 to actually get the truck back. Okay.
Are those the only two?
There's one more.
There's one more. There's a quarter bond invoice, and this is actually dating back to January when we were doing our annual leak fixing blitz to maintain our water levels through the freeze. And so it's dating back from then in West Helena to multiple repairs that we're making, or have been made, I will say, in Helena and West Helena. And so this work has already been complete. And this is an invoice for, I believe close to 10,000. I didn't have that one in front of me.
Yeah, $10,950.
Okay, thank you, yeah. And so, but like I said, this work is dating back all the way to January.
And to just hopefully sum it up for a fast approval of these invoices, I think this is the good thing about having a healthy water department. We can afford to get maintenance done when we need to. So we've all seen the financial standing of the water department, and I will entertain a motion to approve these invoices.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second
Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Mr. Etherly?
Yes.
Ms. Davis?
Yes.
Dr. Miller?
it. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Messina?
Yes.
Mr. St. Columbia?
Yes.
6 yes, 1 absent.
Thank you. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Moving right along, we will jump to, and I'll save number 9 as a summary at the end that doesn't require any action. We have Mr. Ken Wallen here who has a invoice as well for Hernando Street repair. This is the street that was brought up by Councilman Davis last meeting, and Mr. Wallen had a chance to go out and look and see what type of repairs need to be done on this bridge, or this road, I should say.
I know you've had a long night, so I'm going to try to just move through this pretty quickly. We can talk about all the little details, but the bottom line is we went out and inspected the failed culvert on Hernando Street, the one I brought y'all the pictures of last time, so I think everyone here is now familiar with it. And we have come up with the plan that it would take to restore the culvert and the traffic on that street. And that's what you're seeing here. We're estimating with construction, engineering, some contingency, estimating, I should have brought my glasses up, at 50, is that 51,100 at the bottom?
51,180.
Trying to move this along, so I'm sorry I didn't have it in a better printed form, but I think I was just trying to get you the information first. Now, you know, that's a bunch. You know, y'all have already taken some pretty good licks tonight. The way I see it, Ms. Davis, you got 2 phases. One, do you want to take it under advisement and consider this? Or do you want to potentially close the street? It's already closed. Close the street to try to build some funds through some means to do it, or we can do it now. If we do it now, you know, then the only thing I would need to know is, do you want me to proceed with, do we want to do competitive bids? Do we want to go out and get 2 reputable contractors? And Attorney Valley, I'm not sure what those limits are anymore as to what you can do with 2 quotes, but we could get 2 quotes or 3 as long as they're, you know, my advice would be to get a contractor that can get his performance and payment bonds. You know, they need to be licensed and they need to be bondable, so they can stand behind their work. Right. But to go out and to advertise it, you know, it takes extra time, a little extra engineering on my part to get all the stuff together for a competitive bid. There is one alternative that you could consider if you want to kick the can down the road a little bit. We could go in and get the new, this plan adds a new culvert. As I've mentioned last time, you have a small culvert behind large culverts, and a lot of water coming through there, and that's probably what led to the failure to begin with. So this plan is going to install a larger culvert beside the culvert that's there. We're going to utilize the culvert that was in the road to begin with. It's not damaged. We can still reuse it. We're going to increase that area of flow for that water to get through, make sure everything is compacted around it, make sure we have the ends plated with riprap, and of course it would be a concrete surface on top. Now you could delay, and if you look at it, the big parts of the money in this is the pipe, about 10 grand, and the concrete, about 10 grand. And then the rest of it is what goes along with it. But you could do everything and just leave it stone for a while and build some funds and then come back and put the concrete in later, or you can just do it all at once. So really and truly, I guess I'm bringing this as my task was to tell you all what it's going to take to restore that culvert. And this is my estimate of what it's going to take to restore the culvert. I just need to know what my directions are from here.
Any discussion or questions about what was stated?
Well, I'd like to say that that street's been closed about a year, almost a year. It is vital to our neighborhood. Lots of people use that street. There are people that live on the street, so I think the can has been kicked far enough. I would like for us to decide how we can repair it. Mayor.
You say it would be to our best interest to get a couple of bids?
Sure, I mean, you can go through the full competitive bidding process. You know, it takes about 4 to 6 weeks after we get the, you know, we got to get the plans and specs right so that everybody's bidding on the same thing. But there's also, and again, Attorney Valley would have to advise you as to whether we can go out and basically take quotes from contractors that have the required licensing and bondability, get 2 quotes from them. That doesn't require as much plans and details because we're going to be working with them, and then they will just give us 2 sealed quotes instead of you know, an advertisement in the paper and all that. It can be done on this. I don't know how many contractors you're going to get to come in and look at this anyway, quite honestly. These contractors are busy. Might get a bunch, but most of the time we have to go out and beg people, hey, come look at this and put a bid in on it. This is it from a contractor standpoint, it's a relatively small job.
It's going to be a problem just to get 2 contractors to look at it, get 2 bids?
Well, I don't know. You know, it just depends. We had a bid, biggest one I've ever had. We had 15 plan holders a short while back over on a pretty good sized project in Mississippi, and then we do another one over here and we get 2. So it just depends. The biggest thing is just make sure that they're capable of doing it and doing it correctly, and doing it according to what how we're going to tell them to do it. Which is not, this is not a real complicated one. I mean, we're going to put a pipe in, we're going to bed it in, we'll put the fill material back in there, we'll pour concrete over the top of it and plate the sides of it to try to keep and increase that pipe size to try to keep the water from blowing that culvert back out again. So this is not a real complicated project.
Well, we're leaving it up to you to figure all that out.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And this is, I feel good. You know, I'm sure y'all know that I have Raymond Hill works for me now, and if there's anybody that knows how to do this, Raymond does, and Raymond's the one that helped me develop this. In fact, that's his writing. So yes, we know what to do. We just need to know what y'all's instructions are.
I just think we need 2 bids.
The 2 quotes.
We just need to get the best people looking at it because, as you know, it was an attempt to fix it once before and it didn't quite turn out as good, and we want to make sure we get people who really know what they're doing.
Right.
I'm sure you'll supervise that.
Right.
But, yeah.
Yes, sir. We just need to make sure they're licensed and their license is endorsed for this type of work.
Yes, sir.
You know,
Yes,
and generally a contractor that is supported by someone who he can get a bond from
Yes,
for
sir.
performance.
Yes,
They're normally going to do it right because he's got a bonding company on
Yes,
watching over him.
Yes, sir. And then would you be superintendent? You would supervise the project while
the engineer's attorneys don't let us say inspect anymore. We have to say observe. We will observe it to make sure that he's doing it in accordance with
yes, sir.
what we intend to do.
Yes.
So
And
yes,
I wanna add
we
that-
will oversee it.
Because that's important.
We will
Yeah.
observe it to make sure they're doing it correctly.
Yes, sir.
We're not taking responsibility for the contractor,
I understand.
for his safety and all that, but we're going to make sure it's done according to the way we design it.
Yes, sir.
And I want to add that that's at an extra cost. And so it's something that,
I think it'd be
yeah.
worth it because, you know, sometimes if you don't have someone of his caliber that's supervising the project, then sometimes the money gets exhausted and the project doesn't get done correctly.
I agree.
Or it doesn't get done properly.
I agree, and I think it's worth adding or noting that if we trust somebody to supervise something, that might say a lot about their capability. So just throwing that out there as well.
That's true. And I would say in the future, if we have jobs of this magnitude, I think it would be worth it to have someone to oversee them.
Yes.
So is the consensus of this body to open up to bids for this, or is this consensus of the body to move forward with Smith and Wyland, have you reached a consensus on what we think is best?
Just to articulate what
I understand what you're saying.
Ms. Wyland is saying, the city can waive competitive bidding once you, if you want to send him out to say, we'll get these people licensed, bonded, and published, and get them to respond. You could do that, but you still would have to waive competitive bidding because it's over both the state and the city's amounts. What he was saying, that you can dispense with the more formal doing the bids and waiting, and then the issue too, if you're going to spend the $51,000, you're going to appropriate it and do it, that's going to elongate the process. And so those are the things we're saying. We still would have to, after he selects someone, after the mayor selects someone, we still would have to waive competitive bidding regardless. But in accordance with this, I agree with you saying you need someone licensed and bonded, and for him to have a task order, when I say him, I mean Smith and Wyland, to have a task order to oversight over the situation.
We actually already have one.
Yes, sir.
Y'all
we,
approved that?
we already approved it, yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's right. Thank you.
We're ready to go.
Yes, sir.
And of course, you know, I don't make that final decision. You know, I will review the bids when they come in, or the proposals, whichever y'all choose to do, and I'll bring that back to this council with a recommendation as to who is the lowest and best bid for approval.
Yeah. Actually, you bring it back to the mayor. Yeah, they would have to appropriate the money, but he gets the choice.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, 1458-303, he has the exclusive right to enter any contract or deny any contract. But you all have to appropriate the money. Yes, sir.
What? Everybody's looking at me. Yeah, the amount causes me shortness of breath, all right? That's it. That's it. Y'all looking at me like,
No, that's right. Go ahead and make the motion.
that's a lot.
It is. But it's worth it.
So, are there any questions worth sharing with the table, or is there any discussion worth sharing with the table? As the body that has to vote, do we want
I
to?
don't have any preference either way, whether we do competitive bidding or two quotes, with licensing and bonding. So I think one of y'all can put the motion. I'll support either one.
The question was,
do you want competitive bidding, or do you want just a few quotes for people who are licensed and bonded? You want bids? Okay. Okay.
Is that's the consensus of the body?
I'll second that.
Second. All right.
Your motion is for competitive bid?
Well,
I'm sorry, man.
I don't think we would need a motion for that, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we do. If we're going to enter competitive bid, we're
Once we.
Don't you have to get?
Yeah, I think that you all need to formalize it.
Yeah, we have to formalize that.
Ask for competitive bidding for it, so we can go forward.
Yeah. Second.
Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Mr. Messina?
Yes.
Ms. Davis? Yes. Mr. Etherly?
No.
Mr. St. Columbia?
Yes.
Dr. Mueller?
Yes, ma'am.
I have 3 yeses, 1 absent, 1 no, 1 abstention.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't follow. What was the final competitive bidding?
Yes.
Okay. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so moving right along, we will go back to, we're gonna jump really quickly back to our third order of business, which was the possible leasing of 511 Miller Street with the Restoration of Hope after-school program. In front of you now, you have an ordinance that does establish waiving competitive bidding in this instance. I want to just reestablish that the lease agreement for the use of the community center would be from today, if approved, until December 31st, 2026. So what we are in essence approving is waiving bidding for 6 months for the remainder of this year to continue to allow Mr. and Mrs. Cannon to operate from the community center.
Ordinance number.
And also,
7.
And we're also looking at
repairing the pipe.
repairing the pipe.
Right.
So,
Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 7 to waive competitive bidding?
Suspend the rules and place on third and final reading.
Oh, yeah, we have to suspend the rules. Is there a motion to suspend the
Reading
rules?
title only.
Is there a motion? Is there a second? Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Mr. Messina?
Yes.
Ms. Davis? Yes. Mr. Etherly?
Yes.
Mr. St. Columbia?
Yes.
Dr. Miller?
yes, ma'am.
5 yes.
An ordinance waiving competitive bidding in accordance with Arkansas Code annotated section 1458-303, authorizing the mayor in a lease agreement with, for the Helena Community located at 511 Miller Street with Restoration of Hope After School Program, making finance a public purpose and constitutional compliance and for other related purposes. Needs to be a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Mr. St. Columbia?
Yes.
Mr. Messina?
Yes.
Dr. Miller?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Davis? Mr. Etherly?
Yes.
Mr. Miller, Dr. Miller? how
I
you
said
vote?
yes, ma'am. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
I'm sorry.
Be 5 yes, 1 absent.
And just for
Motion
clarity,
approved.
for the record, if it's under the spending limit, I don't know if there's anything in the budget, but we want to make sure that the mayor has authority to fix the pipe. I would like that to be in the vote so we can make sure that we can have the record clear on that, to fix whatever the pipe is in the kitchen.
Does there need to be a second vote for that? Or-
Yeah, because that was just the lease, we didn't vote on that part.
That was the waiver.
Provided we have budget for it?
Yeah, that was just a waiver, yeah, if you hire a plumber and get it done, if it's under,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's in the budget appropriate, that's the only reason I'm operating out of abundance of caution, to make sure that if it's not in the budget, that you put in the budget, that you have authorized the appropriations, what I'm saying.
Okay, so I'd like to make the motion to fix the plumbing and providing the, with appropriation, to make appropriation if in fact it's not there. So,
Yeah, you just appropriate money to
yeah,
repair the
I'd like to
pipe in the
appropriate
kitchen.
money to fix the pipe.
Is there a second?
Yeah.
Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Ms. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. St. Columbia?
Yes.
Dr. Miller?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Messina?
Yes.
Mr. Etherly?
Yes.
5 yes.
Motion passes. And officially, we need to agree on the lease agreement, the actual lease. So now that we've waived competitive bidding and we've agreed to make sure that the pipes are replaced, is there a formal motion to approve the official?
Your ordinance, I put that in there, that you are authorized to enter to the lease.
Yeah,
Okay, that's in the order.
I thought the
Yeah.
ordinance was released.
Yeah, you're authorized to enter to, section 2 said you're authorized to enter to negotiate, enter lease with them.
Thank you. All right, so with that being stated, thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Cannon. We look forward to the work that you'll do with the community center and look forward to the good things that'll come out of there. Thank you. Thank you.
Amen.
All right.
Amen.
Our final 2 items, which will be just very quick mentions, there's no action that needs to be taken. For item number 9, fire inspector,
Ladies and gentlemen,
fire
we're
investigator.
still in the meeting.
Fire Investigator Unit. This is a proposal from the Assistant Chief Fluker. Please make sure to look this over. This is establishing a fire inspection unit to make sure that we can combat arson within our fire department. So essentially dedicating a couple of city employees that are already working for the fire department to be able to specialize and focus on arson. And so this is not taking any action right now. There is still a conversation on what compensation looks like. Does this become compensated through overtime? Does it become a slight increase for this particular role? But tackling arson should be a priority for the fire department, being that we've had instances happen in the past.
And so with fire, current fire department people getting those roles?
Yes, correct. And the way, if you look at the proposal, so I encourage you to look it over, but if you look at the proposal, that's also a joint partnership with an investigator that would be a member of the police department as well. So there's a partnership between the fire and police department in this proposal. So we're not creating new positions, we're not hiring anyone new. It is basically dedicating people that are already in roles to make sure that they can also look at arson specifically and investigate those. No.
No, we don't have a department doing that.
So that, we can ask those, I can answer more questions about that offline, but please make sure to look at that proposal. And the last thing, before we entertain a motion to adjourn, is line item number 5, an amendment to the mini-step program resolution to be made retroactive. Just a reminder or an update that I want to say some 2.5 months ago, we made we agreed to pay the lieutenant and the chief of police overtime for the mini-step program due to the numbers on the force at the time. It was agreed that this would be reimbursed and it's not costing the city anything. With that official reporting, they haven't been paid overtime, so there would need to be a resolution to make that retroactive. The mini-step program, correct? Yeah.
This is for the chief.
We had to pass the resolution.
We have to.
We do the retroactive.
Retroactive, yeah.
What happened? They were already in it, and the city approved the resolution. And when the city approved the resolution, we've adopted that. However, because they were already started, we didn't backdate it. And so the question the clerk asked me and the chief of police asked me, they're saying, well, what about the portions but what they already had before we adopted the resolution?
Oh, I see.
And so the issue is, for clarity, the city clerk wasn't going to submit anything unless she had council approval for the retroactive. When Chief Sanders came in, they were already working it, and so we did it prospectively and not retroactively.
So he accumulated some overtime prior to becoming chief?
Prior to the STEP program. This is a STEP program where they operated with the state police to do the things, the clicker and ticket and the other things that they were doing. And as part of that,
it was some type of overtime before he became chief.
City council had to approve the overtime.
Okay.
And the city council approved prospectively, but the city, they wanted the portion retroactively because they had already started before they presented the resolution to the city. I think that's correct. Is that correct, Madam Clerk?
If it was before he became chief, I think we have to pay him over.
No. It wasn't before chief. This isn't relating to him it's related to him as chief, but it's a reimbursable grant for overtime for the city. But the city has to authorize the resolution for his reimbursable overtime, working with the state police for the STEP program, for all those community issues that they were doing.
In his capacity, is he eligible for overtime?
Yes, he would be eligible from this grant.
This grant.
Oh, okay.
And so what the city did, the city authorized the resolution before for the STEP grant.
Okay.
But they had already started it by the time they came here.
Okay.
And so the city approved, and so the city has been seeking it going forward.
That's it.
So there remains an issue related to the part that he and Mr. Smith had worked prior to the city adopting the ordinance. So the clerk wasn't seeking, Madam Clerk wasn't seeking reimbursement for that until we
did it. Officially approved.
Yeah. So once we have that resolution, we will have the city get reimbursed for that.
If you all just vote on it, I can amend the resolution, because the resolution most carry the same thing, with knowledge of what we're talking about. And I could just amend the resolution. What I would suggest is you do a motion to amend the resolution to include retroactive overtime in the STEP resolution previously adopted.
Okay.
Is there a motion for that?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Mr. Messina?
Yes.
Ms. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Etherly?
Yes.
Mr. St. Columbia?
Yes.
Dr. Miller?
Yes.
5 yes.
Motion passes. Thank you.
I will draft it. I'll amend that and get it to the clerk.
I got a random question.
Yep.
Yes.
Does anybody know why the heat doesn't work in this building?
Because the air's on?
Huh?
You mean in here?
Yeah.
Because I guess the air's on.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's, oh.
it will work.
And I mean, is it working in the back? The heat?
In the very back,
Yeah.
what, code enforcement in it?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think that,
I think code enforcement side is okay, but, and we can,
I need about,
At some point, Mr.
I
Yes-
need $5,000 for a heat exchange unit.
Is that what it is?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, at some point, because my office, we had to do some changes because it wasn't flowing back there either. And so that's part of it, and I know it's probably very cold back there.
No, in the summertime, one side of the hallway is cooler than one side is hot and one side is cold. But that was just a random question.
I'll accept the motion to, go ahead.
Wait,
Add something to the next agenda.
Go ahead.
The Second Baptist Church block party.
Mhm.
It's April the 11th.
We gotta get this stuff cleaned up here on Perry
Okay,
Street.
thank you.
In front of-
April 11th.
in front of the Synagogue.
Thank you. And
And right next
Mr.
to,
Messina, did you have something to
Sure
quickly
do.
ask or say?
I'm getting tired of phone calls. They're wearing me out at Walmart, at Hayes, wherever I go. Mr. Messina, what can you do, or what do you need to tell the mayor to clean up that damn stuff on Perry Street that's across the street from the synagogue and adjacent to the Episcopal Church? It's been over a year. Over a year.
The gas station?
Is there something we can do, cause this,
The torn down house that sits directly across from the
The
Bethel
remnants of the house
Temple.
there.
the remnants, you're right.
So what we, as I mentioned at the top of this meeting, and I'll be very quick, but what we mentioned at the top of the meeting, we have just extended 2 offers to 2 different code enforcement officers. They have both accepted, with one of them having already had a start date as of, correct me if I'm wrong, yesterday was his first day? Yes, Monday was his first day, and our second one, his first day is pending. That was a move done to make sure that we can get the proper, we can have the proper documentation to get the proper equipment into areas.
Funds available.
Exactly. So now that we have some more manpower, literally, we will be able to have the proper documentation, get the proper equipment.
There's some, on Plaza Street.
Oh, they're all over, Mr. Messina, all over.
All right,
Yeah.
good, because I don't want no more phone calls.
Oh, well, they, I will tell you now,
They stopped in the
they
middle
will
of the
still,
street.
they will still come, and they will still stop you in Walmart for a while, because it won't be picked up tomorrow, but the move to hire 2 new code enforcement officers was to take the issue seriously.
Got it taken care of.
The mayor's working on it, we're working on it.
Working on it.
I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.